This is Eve Christoph, your Love Life Muse. This is Love Life with Eve. And my topic today is gender fluidity. And is there such a thing as being gender free? Free in our gender to be who we are? I'm noticing this problem I'm having with some of the friends of mine who really insist they don't want to be, they're men who don't want to be called men. I want for them, these men, for them to have freedom to express all of who they are, to have the ability to dance and wear soft clothing and not be judged and not be thought of as gay, just be allowed to express more of who they are with their laughter and their joy. And that would be really good. But the thing is, for both of the men that I know who insist that they are more feminine or that they want to be able to come to women's groups even, is that actually, because they are not raised as a woman, there's a whole lot of things that their male privilege has given them that they're not even aware of. And the main one is the assumption that when they speak, what they say should be predominant. And so if you are a person, for example, who talks a lot, like me, for example, I talk a lot, what if you talk over other people and you insist that you're right and you don't like to listen that much because you always have something to help others with? This is not a bad quality. It's just that it's very yang. Yin energy, yin listens, yin assimilates what has been understood and then finds a middle ground, a way to connect with the other person in some place of agreement, even if the thoughts are challenging each other. I couldn't actually invite one of these friends to my women's group, this who insisted he was now female because he was taking hormones, etc., because his energy was so yang and his presumption from his male privilege was so strong that he would take over any woman's group with his ideas and his words and his not understanding the power of quietness, the power of agreement, that finding agreement, just that practice that a woman makes her whole life since she was a little girl to always please. It's sad for us women because then we don't speak our real mind a lot and we don't do what we really want with our lives if we're always seeking to please. But on the other hand, it's very mature right from the beginning to constantly be thinking, how does what I want fit into the bigger picture? How can we get closer in our intimacy together? What can I say that will pleasure the other person's life and heart? How can I serve? These feminine principles are extremely important right now. And one thing that's really interesting to look at with gay people, for example, gay men, I notice that many of the gay couples I meet, one man is very feminine and one is very masculine, sort of like they're split between yin and yang, and that polarity works really well in relationship with men and women and women and women. It's always helpful, anyway, to have strong polarity. But these more feminine men, who are the gay men, the yin of the couple, or as one of my gay friends says, the bottom. There's the top and the bottom for gay men. Oh my goodness, that's lewd. But these yin men, they're so feminine. Like from day one, they were born that way. They were born with a much more emotional subtlety, with a way of listening and wanting to please the heart. They're so feminine that they could be in any of my women's groups and it wouldn't make any difference because they already have been trained from day one, or their perspective has just been feminine, and they've been abused for it because boys aren't supposed to be that way, so they've paid a huge price to be in their feminine energy. But what I would like us to all do is to really be aware, when are we supporting the men around us to be more whole, more complete with their feminine energy, as allowed as the women's feminine energy is to come forward. This will help the younger generation, who now, I see it almost as desperation. The men are like, if I'm not allowed to be a whole person, feeling and heart and flamboyant and artistic and expressive, then I'm just going to call myself genderless. I'm going to give up the title of man, or I'm going to try to be a woman. Let's not make that their only option. Okay, I know it's hard as women, though, to support your man to be more feminine when you, all day long, are being forced into the masculine. When you go to work and you have to be on the clock and linear and in your mind, and the ways you would move your body and the things you would care about and be focused on are just sublimated, you are burnt by the time you get home on masculine energy. And part of why we're so hard on our men about them getting into their feminine is that we have to hold the masculine polarity for them. And then it's like we're being defeminized. We have nowhere to be female, nowhere to just be in our flow and our magic, if we have to then do that masculine space holding for the men. So this is a huge thing to look at. You've got to fill yourself up on your feminine energy in order to be able to allow your man to have his feminine energy. And how are you going to do that in a world that is not set up for feminine flow, feminine values, feminine magical, pure, just beingness? It's a journey we're all on. It's a journey, and we are creating a more feminine, magical, intuitive, emotional, sexual, spiritual, loving, heartfelt. And now I can just hear the men, they're getting so mad right now. You're calling all those things feminine, aren't you? Yes, I am. And it doesn't mean they're not all in you. I'm calling the masculine focus and getting things done, and clarity and logic and scientific external evidence, and the feminine subjective knowing from within that needs no evidence. It's just wildly true. But that means both of those realities, both of those realms are within you. Where is your balance? Are you more feminine as a woman or man? Are you more masculine? Do you have a balance? Do you need to? No judgment here. I know that I'm trying to cultivate my balance. I think it's great if I have both going really strong. Okay, much love to you, darling. Love life. Love it.